Hey guys, so I feel like we've got a pretty significant energy weekend going on. We have lots of nodal activations happening. That's going to bring up themes of karma and destiny, past and future, what we're releasing, what we're moving on from, and where we're going now. Transformation, transition, a tipping point, a turning point, all this type of stuff I feel like is relevant this weekend on Friday. We have the sun coming into an exact trine and sextile to the north and the south nodes of the moon, while the moon simultaneously in the sign of Taurus makes an exact conjunction to the north node, opposition to the south node. So we have both luminaries, double luminary nodal activation going on Friday, definitely shining a light on, like I said, what we're transitioning out of, where we're going now, and bringing the past and the future into a prominence and maybe some weird or different or unusual contexts. Moving into Saturday, we are reactivating the Uranus-Mercury square that we had Tuesday of this past week. The moon will make a conjunction to Uranus, square Mercury in Aquarius. This may be bringing up themes or situations or retouching on things that began to happen or started happening or happened this past Tuesday when the Mercury-Uranus square was exact, but we may generally just sort of be feeling a need for freedom, wanting to switch things up, shake things up a little bit, experience something different than like the normal monotony, mundane experiences that we're used to. Could be some curveballs kind of coming at us on Saturday, changes to plans, and maybe some like shocking or unexpected messages, conversations, communications with others coming through as well. Moving into Sunday, we've got a pretty positive day going on. The vibe should be pretty light. The moon is in Gemini. We have our first quarter square moon going on, but other than that, probably a pretty upbeat, positive day, which is good because as we move into the energy of next week and close out February, begin the month of March, we definitely have some more serious energy coming in and maybe some heavier vibes. So we're soaking up all the positivity this weekend, you guys. Let's get into our charts for the weekend, break this energy down a little bit more detail, and see what might be coming at us in our experience on the ground this weekend. Welcome back, you guys, to your favorite astrology show on YouTube. Today is Friday, February 24th, 2023. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the weekend. In this video, we're going to be breaking down the energy for Friday, the 24th, Saturday, the 25th, Sunday, the 26th, from an energetic astrological perspective, just so that we can get a better read on what might be unfolding for us and know how to navigate the incoming energetic tides, okay? So we are, I feel like, at a transition point. You know, we are in the Pisces cycle, which is always a transition point in the year. This is a mutable cycle. This is truly the cycle that closes out our energetic, natural, astrological, lunar new year, which of course begins with the new moon in Aries, when the sun and the moon come into an alignment in the sign of Aries each year, which is going to be happening next month. And we are closing out this energetic year that we've been in since the new moon in Aries last year. So of course, you know, this is always a transitional cycle, a transitional time of year where we are really, you know, closing out the winter vibes and heading towards the springtime vibes as well. But we have so much nodal activation going on this weekend, you guys. The nodes of the moon, the north node, the south node. These are points in the sky ruling destiny and karma, the past and the future. What we're very good at, what we're very comfortable with, the lessons we've learned, the experiences that we've had, what we've mastered, and what is holding us back from going through the next phase of growth, evolution, development. The south node is what we need to release in order to evolve, essentially. In the north node, this is the destiny point. This is where universe is sort of like compulsively pulling us towards and the like next phase of our growth and evolution. Right now, we have the north node in the sign of Taurus. This is about discovering and cultivating like true worth and true talent and true potential in a way that can stabilize our physical, tangible reality around us. And this is the south node. This is talking about releasing ourselves from any type of toxic attachments from the past where we were surrendering power out of a lack of perception of value within us in one way or another. So these are the common themes. This is what we're doing. This is the process of growth that has been going on as the nodes have been transiting the signs of Taurus and Scorpio. That being said, on Friday, we have the sun in Pisces coming into an exact trine to the south node, sextile to the north node. This is facilitating, this is assisting, this is things just sort of happening. Sun in Pisces, water sign, trining Scorpio south node, other water sign. This is an inherent, organic, natural, facilitated release of emotions that have been, or emotions, or like deep subconscious or unconscious or psychic attachments, essentially, that have been holding us back or preventing us from seeing our value or preventing us from going in this direction of growth, which is indicated by the North Node in Taurus. Now, simultaneously, because the nodes are always in a polar opposition from each other, exactly, if the sun is aspecting by trine the South Node, that means the sun will also be aspecting by sextile the North Node. Sextile, this is also a positive, facilitating, assisting aspect. So while we have some really strong assistance releasing ourselves on an emotional level from that which we've been attached to in the past that has been hindering our growth or stealing our power, this energy is simultaneously facilitating our ability to step into our future, to step into that phase of growth. So we've got both things going on here simultaneously, and the way that it's playing out, it's like whatever is helping us to step away from and release ourselves from our past is simultaneously bridging us into the future. I use the word bridge specifically, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But aside from that, that's what's going on with the sun, okay? The sun rules like our consciousness and our spirit and that which makes us grow and thrive. So there's actually like sort of a need in this energy in order to also sort of like connect to our higher selves and our higher potential and like nourish our spiritual connection stuff, because we're talking about the sun in the sign of Pisces, which would rule those things. But we're talking about the sun. So this is the more conscious component of our character, of our being, and almost like a need to go through this process of release and simultaneous attraction to where we're going in order to like feel alive or feel good. There's like an inherent sense of like, I'm ready to move on from one thing because I know that my soul or my spirit is calling me towards something else. And this is simultaneously indicated by the moon's presence with the nodes today as well. On the day where the sun makes this exact contact by degree to the north and the south node, the moon also happens to be transiting the sign of Taurus. That is where the north node is. That is oppositional to the south node. So the moon in Taurus making a simultaneous conjunction to the north node, opposition to the south node. A conjunction is an exact alignment. So while the sun with the trine to the south node is facilitating an emotional release from something that has been like holding us back from discovering our value, our worth, our potential, and like moving towards cultivating it to build something with it, Taurus, the sign of the builder, the moon, our emotions, is also making an alignment, an exact alignment with the north node, with the destiny point, with where we're going, with where we're being like pulled towards, right? So we're releasing the emotions that have been holding us back, that we've been attached to, that we are moving on from because of this emotional alignment with where we know we need to go now. Now, of course, the simultaneous opposition between the sun or between the moon and the south node is having us reflecting, right? An opposition, a reflection on the past, on what we've been giving power to, on what we've been attached to, on like the deep emotional intertwinements and just like maybe negative attachments that we've had in the past, or the subconscious programming. This is our unconscious as well, the moon, our emotions, our feelings. So on both a conscious level, a level of our spirit, and an unconscious level, the level of our soul, there is a facilitation with a reflection and a release of what we've been bound to in the past that has been in any way stifling our growth and alignment with our authentic potential, while simultaneously there is a merger and a union of this soul energy, of this emotional energy, and simultaneously a facilitation of where we're going next, the direction that we're being pulled. Like, we are ready. That's what this is. It's like we are ready to move on. Things that maybe we thought we would never be able to get away from or that would never end are coming to an end, and we're reflecting on that, right? But we're releasing it because we realize where we're going now is so much more valuable. And this is the bridging energy, okay? And as we close out this Pisces cycle and head towards the new moon in Aries, this is the energy that is bridging us from the past into the future that we're really actively creating now. So this is the end of an era. This is the beginning of something based in true value, true authenticity. We're talking about Uranus, true authenticity, true realness, the real in the sign of Taurus, which rules value and potential and the growth associated with that and what we can build with that to stabilize our physical, tangible lives around us, this earth sign, and create abundance and beauty and comfort. All of the stuff that Taurus really loves and works so hard to attain and achieve and enjoy. That is what we're cultivating in the process of detaching ourselves from and moving away from anything that had been keep blinding us to that potential existing within us. The end of an era, it's being represented a couple different ways. Let's talk more specifically, you guys, about the South and the North nodes now and their planetary rulers, because that's also sort of telling some of the story for us. The South node in Scorpio is ruled by Pluto and Mars. Scorpio is a sign that has co-rulers, two rulers. Mars is the original ancient ruler of the sign of Scorpio, and Pluto is a more modern ruler of the sign of Scorpio. They both work together. Right now, Pluto, as I've mentioned, is at the very last degree of the sign of Capricorn. This is the end of an era energy. This is climax. This is crisis, breakdown, purge, purification, regeneration, transformation of our previous paradigm and the foundations on which the reality, our previous reality had been constructed upon, okay? This is the transition point. Capricorn, these are the foundations, these are the limitations, these are the restrictions, this is the control, this is the matrix that we've been operating within. Pluto at the very last critical 29 degree, Pluto is destruction and rebirth. This is the breakdown, you guys, of the previous matrix, of the previous paradigm, of the previous systems of power and control of the past, and its information, okay, that is propelling us forward and that is spurring us into action at this point in time, and that is really contributing to and driving a lot of the change and transformation and purge and purification and breakdown and crisis and regeneration that is likely to be going on now in the context of the previous paradigm, the previous matrix that is kind of collapsing and shifting at that point in time. How do we know it's information? Because the other ruler of the sign of Scorpio, Mars, happens to be where? In the sign of Gemini. We've got one ruler, Pluto, in the sign of Capricorn at the very last degree. Capricorn is authority, leadership, rulership, or big business, organizations, government, all that type of things. Like I said, Pluto is this destroyer, but also the purifier and the regenerator, and brings rebirth, healing, and transformation. Major transformations in regards to the essentially foundation, like I said, that our paradigm, our world had been constructed within or on. But we know it's information because Mars is in the sign of Gemini right now, which is about news, conversations, what we're learning, what we're talking about, information propelling us forward. Like I said, this is what is spurring us into action. This is what is igniting, what is leading to this breakdown, I feel like, in a lot of ways, stirring up passion, stirring up drive, stirring up motivations, and also freeing our mind. Mars right now is simultaneously in a trine to Mercury in the sign of Aquarius, which is all about freeing the mind and fighting to free the mind and fighting for facts and fighting for knowledge and fighting for information. Clarity and truth is what is bridging us out of this old paradigm as it sort of crumbles behind us, but yet this like new bridge is sort of being built like block by block, just right out in front of us when we need to stand. You know what I mean? It's like we're walking this path right now, and behind us is like everything is falling away, but right before the next step that we need to take, it's like magically the new path is just forming right in front of us and showing us which way to go as we bridge into this new future. We have the North Node at 6 degrees of Taurus right now. That Sabian symbol is a bridge being built across a high, narrow gorge. That's why a few minutes ago when I was talking, I was like, I'm using this word bridge specifically because as we are bridging from this past energetic matrix paradigm into this new one in association with this conscious awakening, with this great awakening, and with this like vibratory frequency based shift into the age of Aquarius, as this transition of ages is kicking off, it is this bridging energy, and the nodes coming into place so strongly this weekend. And as we close out this Pisces cycle, and as we get to the point in time where Pluto is about to enter the sign of Aquarius over this next couple of weeks, we've come to the end of this chapter, and it's this bridge, right? The North Node is specifically talking about this bridge over this high and narrow gorge. Like, it's a bit treacherous down there, you know? It's not necessarily like just a nice gentle brook bubbling under our feet as we're walking across the bridge. It may seem, like I said, like treacherous or intimidating or a little bit scary, this transitional process as it's happening, but we're going in the right direction, you guys, as long as we're going with the flow of universe. And like I said, yes, things are falling away behind us, but we still, like, things are still coming together right when we need them to and right under our feet. So we're safe moving forward. We're moving in the right direction. And we need to continue to have faith. But it's also very interesting, you know, we are bridging out of this old way of being, this old way of communicating, this old way of thinking, this old perception of history and reality and like all of this type of stuff as we go through this paradigm shift, and the focus changes to like true value and authenticity and fulfillment that we're like seeking on these deeper levels. The South Node, while we have the North Node talking about this bridge that is being built, like it's not even that the bridge is fully built yet. It's literally being built as like this energy is coming in. Like I said, it's coming into form right under our feet, right in front of us. Well, the South Node, that Sabian symbol is a gold rush, tears men away from their native soil. So it's a gold rush, you guys. That's where this bridge is leading us. That's why we're detaching. That's why we're moving away. It's because we've discovered something so much more valuable than maybe whatever we had been attaching ourselves to in the past. And so we're ready to take off on this new direction. We're ready to, you know, follow our potential. We're ready to activate our destiny. We're ready to try something new and to move away from any type of toxic attachment or subconscious programming from the past that has been stealing our power. The North Node, this is where we're going. We're crossing this bridge that is actively being built step by step right in front of us right now. And the North Node is in the sign of Taurus, you guys, which is ruled by Venus. Venus, of course, rules value and money and finances and worth and potential and what we can do with that, what we can build with that, what we can grow with that, the abundance that we can create from the talent, the potential, the resources, the worth that we hold within, okay? And Venus right now happens to be in the sign of Aries, you guys, coming into a conjunction with both Jupiter and Chiron in the sign of Aries. Venus rules value. Chiron is the other planet that also really rules value. Jupiter also rules money and expansion and stuff like that. Chiron, the Chiron point, the Sabian symbol, the degree in the sky where Chiron was discovered, 4 degrees of Taurus, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, the hero's journey, this process of self-actualization, our inner alchemization from states of victimhood to states of self-mastery. That is the gold rush, you guys. That is where we're going. This ultimate soul healing and transcendence. And like I said, like inner alchemization, activating destiny, rising into our potential, activating our soul's purpose and receiving like the gold of the soul, true fulfillment that comes when we are living in alignment with our authentic truth, with our soul's purpose. And as a result, on a frequency-based level, we are attracting like reflection of that back into our lives. If that is what we are, and then that is what we are attracting, there's no way that we exist in anything less than a state of internalized fulfillment and peace. So we're building, honestly, through this process of the changes that we're making in this journey that we're going on, this hero's journey that is being activated with this as well, with Venus coming into the conjunction with Jupiter, coming into the conjunction with Chiron in the sign of Aries. While we have these nodal activations going on and while we are closing out this cycle, I feel like this is pointing us towards this hero's journey that we are going to be on throughout the course of 2023, and the gold that we are pursuing now that is tearing us away from our native soil, you know, taking us out of the places and the things that we've been attached to in the past that are no longer in alignment with the value that we've discovered within us. Well, that's the hero's journey, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, the Chiron archetype, this process of self-actualization. Again, I feel like we are kicking that off, the tipping point, the turning point, starting down that road in this energy. Jupiter expands things, Jupiter brings gifts, Jupiter brings blessings. Like, this is true value, you guys, that we are gaining through this learning experience of whatever we are moving on from at this point of time. Now, Aries, where Venus is also the sign of the self, okay? Where we are going is on this hero's journey, yes, but it's to discover the truth of our own value, our own worth, our own beauty, our own potential, all of these things that I've been talking about, if we haven't already. This energy was trying to come into fruition for us throughout the course of 2022 as well. And I do feel like, like I said, energetically, we are still in the very last cycle of the natural 2022 New Year. So we're technically on an energetic level, not out of that 222 numerology yet. And so I feel like this is sort of like the final push of this energy of this 222 year, where we are being asked to expand into this greater version of ourselves, to really rediscover this worth, this value, realign with the relationship to our own selves, so that we can go through this process moving forward throughout the rest of this year of coming to a place vibrationally where we can attract these soulmate connections and these just much more appropriate relationships, partnerships, experiences, opportunities, all that type of stuff that is much more conducive to our growth, to our success, and to the process of self-actualization that universe is really very much urging us on right now, because that is how we play our microcosm role in creating the age of Aquarius, in transitioning into the age of Aquarius, microcosm, macrocosm, as above, so below. It's all playing out on a frequency-based level, you guys, but the way that it's impacting us is calling us into our higher selves and activating our destiny as a part of this transitional process. So we are discovering the true wealth in the form of the gold of our soul and the gifts and the blessings associated with that by tapping our true potential and becoming what we've always meant to become, and as a result experiencing so much greater levels of fulfillment internally and in like the external relationship, whatever based components of our lives as well. So this is really what we're chasing now, what we're after, what we're motivated to pursue at this point in time, and simultaneously, of course, releasing ourselves from, detaching from, letting go of things from the past. We no longer desire to surrender to things that don't see our worth or that block our growth or development of our potential in any type of way. We also have Venus today on Friday at 6 degrees of Aries. That Sabian symbol is a square brightly lighted on one side. So we're also seeing the solution. Like, we finally see a way out. If we felt boxed in or like stuck, or like we in a situation where there was just no way out, it's like suddenly we are seeing an alternative, we're seeing a solution, and we're ready to take it. We're ready to free ourselves, to liberate ourselves from something that's been holding us back for a long period of time at this point in time. Themes of the past and the future are probably very relevant today, very likely today, with the nodes being so activated. Generally just a feeling though that we are ready to let go of something, ready to move on from something. We also have Mercury on Friday at 20 degrees of Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is a large white dove bearing a message. Messages of hope, peace, truth, love could also be coming through with this, or just significant messages of some kind. I do think there could be a lot playing out, you guys, on the world stage as well, on a more macrocosm level, exposing corruption in governments, leadership, authority, establishments, long established orders of power and control, with Pluto at the last degree of the sign of Capricorn. Possibly military as well. We have the sun on Friday at 6 degrees of Pisces, a parade of army officers in full dress. So there could be like a military theme that is kind of relevant today for some reason as well. But with Pluto, like I said, at that 30 degrees of the sign of Capricorn, that Sabian symbol is a secret meeting of men responsible for world affairs, and we're talking about the end of that, the breakdown in that, the destruction of that, the transition in that. And then we've also got, there could be China themes coming up as well, especially in regards to like things that have happened in secret or things that have gone on behind the scenes. We have Mars, considering all this South Node activation today, Scorpio, Mars, and Pluto. Pluto is at that degree about the secret meeting of men. And then we have Mars at 18 Gemini, two Chinese men talking Chinese in a Western crowd. So things being lost in translation, or things that we haven't gotten the message on or didn't understand because it was not being presented in a way that we could understand or something like that could be relevant in one way or another. Secrets behind the scenes with Mercury at that degree, the large white dove carrying a message, probably getting some helpful information going on with this as well. Also, other relevant Sabian symbols that we have today in the context of these like global power dynamic changes that are probably playing out. We have Jupiter, right? The planet of expansion in the sign of Aries at the ruler of a nation. We have Saturn at 29 Aquarius right now, a butterfly emerging from a chrysalis, transformation going on. We have Uranus at 16 Taurus, an old teacher fails to interest his students in traditional knowledge. This is sort of, again, the old and the new sort of juxtaposed to each other and needing to figure out a way to bridge one thing into another. We also have the black moon at 6 degrees of Leo, an old-fashioned woman in a flapper. Same type of concept as the position of Uranus. And we have Neptune right now at 25 degrees of Pisces, the purging of the priesthood. So lots of energy, you guys, I feel like that is talking about transitions in leadership, in rulership, in long established orders of power and control, change, evolution, the past and future juxtaposed to each other, bridging from one thing into another, purge, transition, and then just this generalized focus on rulers, leadership, authority. One more thing I want to mention about the energy for Friday. Sorry, this is turning into a long Friday segment. There's just a lot of information for Friday, but another interesting thing to note in the energy for Friday, we have 6 planets at discharging 6 degrees of their sign on Friday. So there could be an emphasis on the number 6 somehow. We have the sun at 6 Pisces. We have the earth at 6 Virgo. We have Venus at 6 Aries. We've got the north node at 6 Taurus. We've got the south node at 6 Scorpio. This also breaks down into 2 fire sign 6s, 2 earth sign 6s, and 2 water sign 6s. We have no air sign 6s in the tarot. This breaks down to representing victory, reciprocity, nostalgia. So again, this could be sort of conquering our past in some type of a way that rebalances things for us and leads to some type of, victory over our past circumstance, moving on from the past. There could be themes, again, though, of nostalgia coming up today, but 6 is also sort of like a number of love, a number of flow, and a number of transition again. So with 6 6s in the chart, I just wanted to note that as well. Some interesting numerology that I am noting, observing, noticing there. Let's move on now and talk about Saturday. I'm going to try to move a little quicker through these next couple of days. There's less going on. There's less to talk about. Friday is really sort of like the big energetic day of the weekend. Saturday, the main energy that we have going on is an activation of the Uranus-Mercury square that we had present this past week. On Tuesday, we had Mercury and Uranus come to an exact square in fixed signs. This may have been a bit jarring. This may have brought some like unexpected news or information or some awakening to something somehow. And it could be coming back up today. Energy on Saturday, triggering this energy because the moon moving through Taurus will come to a conjunction with Uranus, simultaneously a square to Mercury. This is putting a Uranian Aquarian flavor on both our emotions, our feelings, our internal self, and our unconscious mind with the moon conjunct Uranus, and simultaneously making the square to Mercury ruling our conscious mind, our logical mind in the sign of Aquarius. Both our emotions and our mind are aligned with the Aquarian frequencies, the Uranian vibes. So there could definitely be a yearning or an urge to free ourselves from something in the energy on Saturday. But things that came up, surprising news or information of this past week, specifically Tuesday, or revelations that came up, could be reactivated or re-emphasized somehow in the energy on Saturday. Uranus moon conjunction, this can represent emotional upsets and things that sort of shake us out or pull us out of our comfort zone somehow. Disruptions to plans, meetings, and travel can be likely when we have this energy playing out. Probably a bit of an unusual or out of the ordinary day on Saturday. And because of both the mental conscious and the emotional unconscious alignments that we have going on with this Uranian force, with this Uranian frequency, this desire for freedom or this yearning for freedom or the need, freedom, excitement, something new and different, we can't handle the feelings, the weight, the burden burden of like monotony and boredom and restriction and like the same old mundane thing, like day after day, time after time. When we have this energy going on, we want new thoughts and new ideas and new conversations and new people and new interactions. Like this is what is appealing to us when we have this strong emphasis on the Uranian energy, on the Aquarius energy in the context of both our mind and our emotions. We are probably like potentially feeling the need to sort of like innovate something or to change something or to switch things up for ourselves somehow, to free ourselves somehow as well, to free our mind. We may also feel sort of inspired or playful or creative or divinely connected somehow as this Uranus energy really like taps us again into our future potential. We are very focused on what could be, who we could become, what we are discovering, and what that could lead us towards, like what could develop from that, from the seeds that we are coming to realize that we've held within us this whole time. Like that's sort of what this vibe is reminding me of. We have Mercury, 22 degrees of Aquarius, a rug placed on the floor for children to play on Saturday, and we have the sun at 7 degrees of Pisces, illuminated by a shaft of light. A large cross lies on rocks surrounded by sea and mist. So there could just be this inspiration that's sort of coming through, and we may just sort of want to have like a bit of a more carefree day and have the freedom to play with our thoughts, or to, like I said, to be more innovative, or just to be creative, or to express the maybe like enhanced sense of divine connection that we may be feeling with this energy as well. We should go with the flow on Saturday, follow any inspiration that comes to us, allow ourselves to be spontaneous, allow ourselves to do things that are like new and different, because if we don't, there'll be probably like a massive amount of frustration, and it can lead to conflicts, arguments, and accidents even when we're dealing with the Uranian vibe. So we want to follow sort of any inspirations that are coming to us, and they could be very awakening somehow. They could lead to some type of profound awakening in this energy, and specifically in relation to something that is necessary for our growth or for our forward movement, or it could have something to do with what we are releasing and moving on from and where we are moving towards in this energy. We also have Jupiter 2 degrees out from Chiron in the energy on Saturday. We are building into a Jupiter Chiron conjunction, you guys. This is moving us into a period over this next couple of weeks through sort of the middle of March that is going to just be bringing up this expanded sense of self-awareness and also personal healing. We're likely to gain a greater understanding perhaps of our past traumas and where we've been hurt in the past and our wounds and how that's impacted us, but simultaneously what needs to be done on some deeper levels, how to take personal responsibility for and be personally motivated to heal ourselves in a way that can really once and for all like help us to move forward. And heart healing is going to be very incorporated in this, as well as Venus will also be moving into this conjunction. And I do feel like this is a very positive influence that's going to be coming in over this next couple weeks, while we simultaneously have some other heavier energy going on. So that's really what we have to say about the energy for Saturday. Could be a bit of an unsettling day. There could be some nervous anxiety, tension in the air with the Uranus-Mercury frequencies going on. But generally, this is reactivating the energy that we had this past Tuesday. And it should, though, for the most part, be a pretty just spontaneous, maybe a bit exciting or unusual day. Moving into the energy for Sunday, I think there's going to be some big news, you guys, that comes out next week, or like this coming week, like the week starting tomorrow, possibly about the past with this nodal activity going on and being in this Pisces cycle as well. But that might like raise an alarm somehow, or just could represent like some type of significant announcement. In the energy on Sunday, we have the sun at 8 degrees of Pisces. That Sabian symbol is a girl blowing a bugle, like announcing something, right? We have Mars at 19 Gemini in a museum. A large archaic volume reveals a traditional wisdom, finding something out perhaps from the past that has been like going on for a long period of time, okay, that is coming to an end, and like really getting a understanding or being able to look at it, revealing itself to us somehow. It's also, it's just so characteristic of Pluto in the end of Capricorn right now. And then simultaneously, we have Mercury on Sunday at 23 degrees of Aquarius, a big bear sitting down, waving all of its paws. So it's like there could be information-based revelations or things being revealed to us that require some type of like announcement or call to attention, and simultaneously like trigger some type of offensive or defensive or some type of reaction. Okay, so I find that to be interesting in terms of the symbolism that's in place for Sunday. Now Sunday, we are also in our first quarter square moon energy. The moon will be making its first square to the sun since our new moon in Pisces. So we are a quarter of the way through this Pisces lunar cycle. This is the breakout point in any lunar cycle, an action-oriented phase of the cycle, things happening. This to me is also signaling endings and beginnings. And next week, you guys, we're going to have both Saturn and Pluto at the very last critical degrees of their sign. And this is significant. So that's like major energy for breakdowns, endings, transformations, transitions in power and control and authority, like totally maxed out. So there could be, I feel like it's a Sunday right now, but I feel like this week, this energy that is building into our week that will begin tomorrow could be setting us up for quite a transformational, changing week coming at us. March, which will be beginning this next week, should be pretty groundbreaking. I do believe we start pulling into that energy, you know, starting tomorrow pretty much, kind of even in the energy today, that is going to be this extremely transitional breakdown in, I think, power structures and control systems of the past that we are rapidly moving towards. For today though, Sunday itself, I mean, when I look at the symbolism, when I look at the not necessarily the aspects, but you know, just what's coming through on a more symbolic level in the energy for Sunday, I really think it's indicating what we're moving into, you know, coming this week, especially, you know, technically Sunday is the first day of the week. But, you know, when we look at the aspects themselves, I do feel like Sunday is actually probably going to be a pretty nice day, pretty light energy, pretty lighthearted vibes. The moon is in the early degrees of Gemini. Mercury is in Aquarius right now. Mercury is, of course, ruling the sign of Gemini. So what Mercury is doing is going to influence how the emotional stuff is going on with the moon transiting the sign of Gemini, and with Mercury in Aquarius. At that degree, 23 degrees of Aquarius, the big bear sitting down, waving all of his paws, you know, people could be a little bit defensive. People could be, like I said, a little bit aggressive about things. But for the most part, I do think that it's this innovative, creative, solution-oriented energy that we have going on. And also Mars right now in the sign of Gemini. You know, this could, with the moon there, make us a little bit touchy about stuff as well. But mostly, I think it's just like this lively mind and conversations and ideas and things to do and things to get done, and just pretty upbeat, positive attitude. Again, I do feel like with all this Aries energy, and especially like with Mercury at that big bear degree and Mars in the sign of Gemini, like we could be just standing our ground, right? Not letting people push us around, I feel like is sort of more how this energy is coming through. But generally positive attitudes, I feel like, coming through, and it should be a pretty good day on Sunday. There's no real red flags that I feel like the energy field is triggering though. Next week though, we could definitely get more into this serious, heavy energy as we have Saturn move to the last degree of Aquarius with Pluto simultaneously in the last degree of Capricorn. That's because if you think about it, Capricorn and Aquarius, right, are both signs ruled by Saturn. We've got Pluto in the end of Capricorn, Saturn in the end of Aquarius. Saturn rules authority, control, limitations, structures. Like, this is the end of an era, you guys, in regards to control systems across the board of the past. So with them at this last transitional degree, it's just likely to be, there's likely to be some type of emphasis that is going on the Saturn frequencies, the Saturn vibes, in the context of destruction, the ending, coming to the end of something, moving on from something as we move towards next week. And also then, of course, these planets are going to be changing and moving into Aquarius and Pisces. So that is going to change things up a lot as well. But like I said, we've also got this really beautiful triplicity of planets, Venus, Aries, or Venus, Jupiter, and Chiron going on in the sign of Aries right now, which is bringing things up and helping helping out the vibe a lot. So no fear, you guys. It's just a transitional period of time right now. This whole year is a transitional period of time, but it's moving us in the right direction. The gold rush, right? We are going after the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and we are discovering the true value that exists within us that can lead us to true fulfillment and a true purpose and like true joy across the board sort of in our experience. That's what I have to say for the energy of the weekend, you guys. We're going to grab a synchronicity card now. Just a piece of advice from God's Spirit Universe that we can use as we go through our weekend. It says, drink of inspiration. As cold water to a weary soul, so is good news from a far country. Proverbs 25:25. You thirst spiritually when you lack joy, peace, inspiration, and confidence. Claim the living waters of the Almighty flow through you as wisdom, truth, and beauty, and as joy, harmony, power, and love. Accept this all as your own, and you will then draw from your spiritual waters all that you need to give sustenance to your soul as we are going through this process of release, purge, purification, regeneration, transformation, alchemization, metamorphosis, transcendence, and moving into and getting in touch with this higher version of ourselves and everything associated with that. Inspiration, you guys, drink of inspiration, and make sure you drink a lot of water this weekend too. We'll leave it at that. I hope you guys liked it. That's what I have to say for our astrology of the weekend. If you guys did like it, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think they would like this type of astrology content too. I would love to have them here. Leave me comments, you guys. I really appreciate you. I love your comments so much. I love knowing how these energies are affecting you. If you've got experiences going on that are in alignment with the vibes that I'm talking about this weekend, please put them in the comments. I really love knowing what's going on with you guys as well. I have a Facebook page, you guys, a Facebook group, an Instagram, some other social stuff. Those are in my description box below. I write an astrology blog that goes along with these videos every day that I post over there. It's not the same as these videos, but it's obviously a much shorter written version if you're into any of that as well. I post shorts over there sometimes too. And come back with me next week, you guys. Honestly, I'm not sure if I will have a video out Monday or Tuesday. I need to look at the astrology and see what's going on. But I will be back early next week, either Monday or Tuesday. So I'll be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. We got a big week coming up, you guys. We are moving into the month of March. I'm going to have my March overview out. So that will be interesting too. And so I will see you then, everybody. Again, have a beautiful weekend. And until next time, bye guys.